Yo everyone, welcome back to another video, and in this video we are going to print one of these brand new fully 3D printed bash jets. We're going to print one for my mate Kev Talbot. So let's dribble, let's get on with the video. This is the all new 3D printed bash jet, and it might look quite familiar to another boat that we've used before. I mean guys, look at the detail in this one, it looks absolutely fantastic. This one uses a fully new design jet pump. I'll show you that in a minute. We've also got a metal ride plate to go on there, and we've got fully adjustable trim tab. We've got quick release hatch. We've got a steering wheel. Look at the detail in there, looks absolutely wicked. We've got an old sun visor. We have a foldable boat stand. This stand is printed like this. Push it like that. Oh, look at that, absolutely epic. So I'm not going to bore you with all the techno dribble about this and everything I've used for this. As we go through it, I'll tell you what I've used, and I'll list in the description everything you need to build yourself one of these jet boats. We're going to build one in this video for my mate Kev Talbot. We're going to do him a limited edition game over version that he has no idea about. Let's get on with the build then. This is where you can get the boat from, guys. If you go to Colts 3D, if you type in there bash jet, here it is. Cost at the moment, £26 here, so about, I don't know, €30 and about $35. And also a massive shout out to Christian, who sponsored me the files for this video, so a massive shout out, and he's been a massive help with the building of this jet boat. So we have three different versions there. We have the cruise jet, speed jet, and the bash jet. I think they all use the same holes, it's just a different design on top. Yep, so log on to Colts 3D. There'll be a link in the description for everything I do on this, the boat, but you also need to purchase a jet pump as well. There will be banners coming up in the video to everything I use for this, and I'll put links in the description to everything I use. But this is one I use, like I said, fly colour, 150 amp ESC. Put in Kev's one. These ones here are the rocket motors. These come, I think these are about $40. This is the 1850 kV, and we're going to be running these on 6S, so we may have to turn it down. So this is the M35 jet pump. You will need to purchase this separately. There'll be a link in the description for this as well. This is about €60, I think. This is all fully printed in ABS. There will be a link to that as well. As we go through, I'll tell you about it, and there'll be links everywhere. Here we go. We've got everything for the boat laid out, ready to put together. The whole printed there in sections as normal. All printed again in PLA+. So we got front screen, roll cage, centre console, seats, lid, and the roof. There is a few other bits, obviously. I can't get everything on here anyway. What I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly show you the time lapse of the printing of this, and then we're going to get building. Once again, I'll take you through it. What we do is how to 3D print. We download the files from the internet onto your PC, Mac, or whatever. This works on both platforms. I have it laid out here. I have the whole boat laid out in the slicer. Bringing the slice up, there we go. Every part is in one slice. So you can slice all of them. And all we do is we pick, I don't know, say the hole, click on that plate, we make sure we got the correct filament and the correct settings. If you need support, enable them. We slice that plate, wait for a couple of seconds, tell channel it's going to take 8 hours, 49 minutes. And all I do in my one, because it's fully wireless, print plate, and voila! This is a new Bamboo A1. At the moment, they have these on special offer in the UK here for about $289. This printer will print that boat entirely. So I'll put a link in the description to that as well. You can buy it with the AMS. This one hasn't got it because obviously all got the other one. first thing I do is I insert brass inserts into here. We need to put 2 in there, 1 in here, 1 in each of these holes here. Also, what I need to do is put some brass tubing in here. Also, I need to put the inserts in here as well. It's easier to do it now rather than do it when it's glued. So this is where I found doing this. It's using a soldering iron. So make sure that your soldering iron tip is no bigger and it doesn't protrude all the way through. It fits on the end there perfectly. Otherwise, it will drag the filament through when you insert them and you will clog the insert up. Also, I want this on about 250 degrees and slowly insert them. So guys, make sure it's a brand new soldering tip, because also if it's not and you've got solder on it, it will put the solder on the insert. I'm going to place an insert, try and level it up as much as we can, and then gently put the soldering iron on it and gently melt them in. Perfect. So we get all the way to 8 of them on. So that is all 8 of those fitted in there onto the jet pump. So you can get that little burr off there later. 4 inserted on top of there, 2 in here, 1 down there. There's a bearing retainer in there. Make sure we put these nice and slow. I'll get 1 down here now, that'll be fun. There we go, we've got the 1 in the bottom. And then 1 more in here and 2 in here. This is the grease point for the bearing that sits in there. Like so. So these 2 here need to go at an ever so slight angle. And there we go. That's all the brass inserts that are now fitted. Here's my bamboo scraper. These are quite sharp. And what you can do, if you have a little, like you see on there, a little tiny bit overhanging, this is quite sharp, you should be able to just trim the excess off if you have any. Just because obviously this has got to fit flush. Perfect. Okay, so they're the first 2 steps completed. Okay, next step, we have an FKM rotary valve seal and a stainless steel bearing. Must be stainless steel, otherwise they will rust. So we'll slide the bearing all the way in, so it's seated all the way, and then we need the bearing retainer. Slide the bearing retainer in, and then we need to put an M3x6 to retain that in there. Stick the rotary valve seal, that needs to be gap pointing inwards. So just slide that in the hole, and you might have to get a little hammer or something, or even do it with your fingers. There we go. Remember guys, never over tighten this when it's 3D printed, even if it's ABS like it is at the moment. Next, we've cut our 2 pipes. There is full instructions for these and the lengths you need to do them. They come with the NJet files. These are, I think, 20mm long. What we need to do is epoxy them into there, and then the water cooling lines then. 5-minute epoxy mixed up there, please. Into there like that. So we're ready to dry on with the next bit. Next bit we need to do, attach the unit to the hole. So what I tend to do with this one is just slide it in place like so. Make sure it fits perfectly down the sides here and it's flush at the back. But what I like to do, so I'm going to use half an hour epoxy, so 30-minute epoxy, 2-part epoxy on this, so around the inside of this area and to about here, to about this point here as well. What I don't want to do, because what I am going to do, I'm going to use this part of the hole to align these bits here as well. So that all, so you want to glue it up to this point here, no further. Then I'll use that, and then I'll clamp it down, leave it for half an hour, then come back to it. You can get yourself a big clamp like this. I've got one of these 40-inch clamps. Basically on Amazon, they're about 20 quid, or about $30. And then put that on here. What we can do now, give it isopropyl alcohol and we can clean that up. And then leave it for about half an hour. There we go, so that's in there for now. Next thing we can do, we can actually join the 2 halves of the hole together. 30-minute epoxy again around this edge. Be careful here, you know, make sure we not get it in that hole. After you put it together, you can run something through the hole, both sides. And at the same time, if you have any left over, go around the inside of here, just to double insulate it from the water, or double waterproof it. And then we're going to put this down on here. As I said, don't worry about too much about getting the epoxy. So we've got that together. So next we want to get our clamp. We've got to get old Jed clamp it out. Get old Jed clamp it on there. Then, yeah, clamp it up, not too tight, like I said. Leave that again. So now we can clean this bead off with some alcohol. Okie dokie, then there we go. So I'll just clean all of the remainings. So just leave that another 40 minutes. Good to move on to the next step. Okie dokie, that's now dry. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put a bit more epoxy around here. I've already put a little bit in there. Just going to put a bit more around the outside of it just to seal it 100%. Right, yeah, with that being done, so the hole is joined there. A couple of things we need to do before we proceed. And there you'll have a little hole. That is our battery retaining clip. So we need to put that in there with an M3x4. So the battery retainer is in. We need to make some buoyancy for the inside of here. Try and stick it down the front of the hole if possible. Slightly bigger bit, bigger bit. So what I'm going to do now, put a bit of hot glue around the area, few different spots to hold it in. Okay, so once you've done that bit, we can then glue the next bit on the hole to same again. Half an hour epoxy I'm going to put around this groove here. Put it together, clamp it down. Okay, then that's on there. So do the same again. Feed the hull onto there. Go around and clean it up now. Okay, let's go around and clean it up and then leave it for half an hour. So now that bit's done, the next bit we need to do is join the top front of the hole to this. And with the files, you'll get a key. So we'll put epoxy in there first. The key will attach in there and then the top part will attach. Now we've got the epoxy in there, we can put the keyway in. So just gently plonk that in there. Okay, then we can plonk that on there. And then somehow we need to clamp that. Okay, there we go. So we've got the hole completely put together now. Just need to let the top end dry with the clamp on there for another 40 minutes. And then that's that done. So there'll be time to take it off, clean it up and give it some coats of lacquer. So while we're letting that go off, we're going to do the foam detail on the back here. So this is a bit that sits on the back. We need to basically glue these onto here. So we're going to use 30-minute epoxy again on the back. We've got everything basically put together now, so the hull is put together. To stick these two bits in here as well, these are the connectors for the seats, so they've been cyanoed in place. And I've basically taped off everything that I'm going to use, including the holes at the back with some masking tape. So I'm just going to put a couple of coats of lacquer on this, but first we're going to put some stickers on it. That's that bit done. We're going to take it outside, give it a quick couple of coats of clear lacquer. So let's go and do that quickly. Okay, a couple of coats after. It's not the best finish, but it seals it against the water. We've got the stickers on there, all sealed as well. We're going to let this dry 24 hours. Right, what we can do next then, we can get all of the nozzle bits ready to be installed on the boat. All of these pins, this one here, this is a steering pin. This is all in the diagram. So in with the MJet files, you'll get this, a printout. This is to scale of all of it you need for the jet pump. So there is a printable version of this now in the modifications. You can see that has a slightly longer shaft inside, allowing you to use. So I basically print this in ABS. So here's the one I printed in ABS earlier. And this has a slightly longer shaft. You put a longer shaft on the actual 5mm shaft itself that goes through it. So it makes it a bit stronger. You can get these. There is a link as well where you can get these in the video. So Stefan has done video for this, which I'll put a link in the description for the build of this. You can get these from PCB way, metal 3D printed. So they're perfectly balanced, but I'm doing it in ABS for now because it keeps the cost down a little bit more. So I've already gone ahead and cut these to length. This is the drive for the jet pump itself, so 25mm for the extended version. It's normally 10mm if you use the PCB way, or 25mm if you use the plastic version, and then flat on the other end for the grub screw for the motor. That's done. I did that with a file, and then that then fits in there perfectly. So that bit is already done. So there's that bit. Then you've got your steering rod, which is there, flat on each end, and then we'll hammer that into the end of the steering rod, and then we use the steering pin, which is here as well, and then we used to use a vise to put that inside there. All the other bits are for, so you've got your two motor mount pins there, two water cooling pipes, which I use 3mm brass tubing for that, and then we can make this bit later. This is the metal ride plate. I've got some aluminium. We'll do that later on. So with the motor mount, I had to do this off camera because I haven't got a beefy enough vise, so I had to use somebody else's, but you get the two 10mm pins, put them into these holes here, and then use the vise, do the vise up and squeeze them until they don't go any further. And that is your motor mount and servo mount here. Anything we need to do now, we need to put a 3mm nutser in there, and also on the nozzle itself on the back, we need to put one in here also. If you can see that in there, you put the bearing inside there, and that hole is to lubricate the bearing. So this again, I'll show you the motor I'm going to be using. So 3670, 1850 kV. So short motor or short can version, 3670. You can use other motors. This will take up to 6S, but on 6S, you're going to need to run it at 70% dual rates. Otherwise, you're going to burn it out. 4S, you can run it at 100%. So 4S, perfect for this motor, or 6S, run it at 70%. Otherwise, you will burn it out. You can use a 40 series as well with this boat, and there is a modification now included with the kit where you can have a different motor mount, where you can have a different strap. So I need some of these as well. These are 15mm long M5 grub screws, Amazon. And what we're going to do with this will basically screw into here, and this is what we'll use for the steering. Again, make sure you get this in perfectly straight. Don't do it too far, otherwise it will press on the bearing the other side. This only needs to go in enough for you to be able to get the steering over, a washer, and then an M5 nylock. So you'll feel it get tight. That's tight there. And now there's a perfect amount of room. So that's how the steering works with this. Look, I'll show you how the steering works later on when we get it installed. The only thing we need to do now is put one of them heated nutserts in there, and this is your steering linkage here. Okay, there's them two parts done there. And what I'm going to do afterwards, I'm going to run, just make sure these are clear of plastic or ABS, whatever you're using once you're done. Okie dokie, next thing we need to do is insert this with the flat end into here with the flat end like that. This is your steering mechanism. Okay, so what I've done, I've used a hammer. So put that on a really hard surface and you hammer that into there. And now what we need to do is put this in the vise and squeeze that into there. And that will be your steering mechanism. And that is your steering mechanism. We're going to take our M3x10, we're going to stick it in the nutsert, and then we just want to make sure it comes out like I said earlier. It comes all the way through, clearing if there is any plastic left over in the thread, because obviously this is going to be like your grub screw for your steering shaft. So it's perfectly clean to me. That's one part of the steering, and then you're going to get your round servo horn that comes with the servo. I don't think it's going to be good enough, but waterproof, perfect pass, monster servo. And with this boat, you only need a waterproof servo up to about 12 kilos, but we on hand here, we have 56 kilos, so look at that. Epic servo that. What we need to do now is center this servo. So what I'm going to quickly do is bind a receiver up. So I'm going to be using the noble on this one. That now bound up. Make sure that's centered. Okay, so take your standard servo horn. What I'm going to do, I'm going to drill out all the holes and then line it up with two of the holes in the servo coupler. Okay, what you want to do with this, you don't want to do this up tight. You want to leave about a millimetre gap in between the plate and the servo coupler. Or sorry, the horn. So I'm going to just reverse them out a little bit. You want about a millimetre of plate all the way around, just like that. I'm going to attach the servo to the motor mount. And in the bottom, we're going to use M3x10s. And okay, on top, this is where your receiver mount is going to be. Okay, done. Servo, receiver tray. Making sure that you're in the neutral position with the servo. You're then going to fit the servo horn to it, getting it best neutral position you can. And then we're going to stick the screw through there, and then that's done. So now the steering should work left and right. What we're going to do now, we're going to fit the motor onto the motor mount itself. So you're going to need 4 M3x30s and 2 M3x8. I normally have the wires facing left, so the ESC will be up this side of it, and then the water cooling pipes coming out the top like this. One in here, and one in there. Bit of thread lock on there will help. And there we go. Slide the motor mount in. So once I've done that, I can actually get the battery, and I can get the battery mount in. To remove the battery and to get it in, you basically got to hold the two clips down on the outside, push them down, and then battery comes out on the tray. Okay, what we can do now, we're going to take our other rotary valve seal, making sure that the spring is pointed inwards, and then you can insert that into the back of the drive. We've got it fitted in there now. Next thing we need to do, so what I like to do is take the impeller and then slide it into the shaft. So we have the impeller fitted, we've butted it up. You want a guideline now of how far this sticks out, then we can get our coupler at the right position. Okay, so I've got the coupler fitted. What I want to do is just mount it all up in there. Got the motor in place. All we need to do now is tighten this up. So I'm going to take this rear piece here of the M-Jet, and then I'm going to stick, so I've got ceramic bearings for this. Link in the description. And that basically goes in there. That's going to press that in there. Perfect. And also with this one, we're not going to grease this, so I'm going to stick an M3x6 directly in there. What we're going to do, rubber O-rings. First one gets seated in there, and then we slide this on over the impeller. And then we do the same with the second stage. Get your O-ring seated in there. Steering to the right. Right, and then what we can do, got M3x45s all the way around the impeller. So already got one in there. And then turn it over and do the same on the bottom half. Tight all the way around. M3x25s, stick them in the mount. So you've got one either side. Got this molly grease, and then I'm going to feed a little bit through there to lubricate the bearing, not too much. So M3x6, okay, steering shaft. The flat is this side. You can take your steering shaft from the side, feed it in through the back, in through the rotary valve seal. You keep it at the perfect angle so you know where your flat spot is, which is there. Push it all the way through. And then I take this ball driver and I get that done in there. Perfect. Last thing to do with the nozzle or the jet pump is actually to stick the nozzle on. This is the nozzle itself. This is 0 plane. This is easy enough. That slides on over the steering. M5 washer followed by an M5 nylock. Not too tight, obviously. You want to leave it so there is a bit of play there, so you've not got tight steering. So I tend to do it up till it's tight, back it off, quarter of a turn. There we go. Right, next thing I'm going to do. So I have already put my this is Tygon fuel tube, and I'm using here. Get this from Mini Model Shop. Put a loop on one end, and then I've got that about 120mm on that side. So what I need to do now, solder some 4mm bullet connectors on here, and then obviously a connector of your choice onto the battery end. Got one of these connectors on here, one of these IPS connectors on here. Got the 4mm bullets on there. The bottom one is the inlet. Then I've gone to ESC. Then I'll go through the ESC, out into the motor, of the motor, into the top one there. That's the exhaust. Comes out the spout there. Right, we've got the ESC installed on there, a bit of Velcro on the underside of that ESC, nice and secure. And there we go, everything is now connected. ESC is all done and installed and plumbed in with all the water cooling pipes. Motor is all done. Next we need to install, I don't know what this is called, this fits on the back, what you get on, I suppose, the foot plank or the step board. So we can see what I've done. So that is 3D printed out there, and then you get all of this comes with the files. These foam boards here, this is like the inertia that goes on top what you'd stand on the boat. So what I've done here, done it into twin colours, what I can do obviously with the bamboo, so that with red stitching. So that'd be your foam that you stand on a proper boat. That will basically, from the easiest way, the next step I do is put this on. So from underneath, we just fit it in there, push it up snug, and then we're going to secure that with some M3x5s. Once it's installed, you should have something like that. Okay, next we're going to install the dash. We stick the dash in place, and then we're going to use 3 M3x10s to secure that to the hull. Okay, with the dash installed, I have slid the screen into place. That is not secure now. I'm just doing that for the purpose of aligning everything else. We can do now, we can glue the foam board because we know where everything fits. So you want that glued to there. So you have this bit here as well, in there like so. And then, so you have all these other bits. That one will fit at the back like so. And so on, you have these bits. That will fit on this side. There's 2 bits here. You'll find all of this in the kit. And it all goes around like that before we put the seats in. So we don't want to glue all that now. Alrighty then. So I've got some 30mm epoxy here. I've got my PPE on. So gloves to this stuff. Epoxy is not very nice to get on your hands. It's horrible to get off as well. And what I'm going to use, I'm going to use one of these epoxy brushes. We're going to mix 30mm epoxy up, quite a large amount, and it gives us enough time then to fit all of the foam decking onto the boat itself. And then what you can do, take your foam pad in, make sure it's the right way around, just gently drop it in. Get the rest of it glued up, and then we'll get you back on again. There we go. All the foam board fitted. So we're going to leave that half an hour now for it to cure. All that is now complete. We can start sticking all the other bits that are in here. So we need the centre console, and we can install the 2 seats. So next I am going to remove the dash. So I want to insert the centre console first. That sits in there. You've got a groove in the bottom and here. So that will just sit in there. And then we need an M3x12 to hold the centre console in, and then secure it in place. In the dash, there is this hole. This is the centre cage mount for the roll cage. You look, there is a little hole. So what you can do, it will come with a light strip, like the jet stream boats. You can have a LED light strip that will then feed down here through the hull of the boat. You can run your LEDs basically through there into the hull. I'm going to fit the sun visor option to this. So next thing we do before putting the dash back on, we can install the steering wheel. That needs an M3x15. There we go. Steering wheel installed. Back in the boat. What we can do now, we're going to install the roll cage frame. See the little hole behind here. To one side. That is both screws now installed on both sides of the cage. I am going to install the side cages, so into the bottom, and then they should plug into there. Side rails are then screwed in here. 1 M2x10 either side. What I'm going to do is install the racing bucket seats. Yeah, so there is a cutout on the underside here, look, and then that sits in there. It's somewhere to locate. To secure the seats in place, we're going to use 2 M3x10. They will need to be dome head, so like this, otherwise the seat cover will not fit on there. Boom, there you go, all the seats are done, so you get the seat covers on now. So these are the 2 seat covers. What I'm not going to do though, I'm not going to glue those in place. The only reason being, if we glue them in place, we break a seat, we can't replace it. So what I'm going to use is black tack. Use a bit of this sticky stuff here. Don't need a lot. And stick it on the seat base. And then There we go, seats are in place. Look at that, boat is looking absolutely epic already. Look. Now we're going to install the front screen. That just basically sits on there. 4 M3x9s. We have the screen installed now, so now we can put the dash back in. Next thing, we can put the centre brace in here. Get that in there fully. That should clip in there. The centre brace is in. The next bit, we can install the rear sections of the cage. You'll see that there is a slight angle. They point out on either side. Locate that in the hole, like so, and that then should sit in there like that. And then the same on this side. Through hole here. M2x9s through here to locate those. They'll have a hole here. That needs to face upwards. They can only really go in one direction. That will basically go into there like that. Push into there. Should go in there. Push together like that. Guys, I'm actually liking the look of that, you know, compared to my one that has the roof. The one without the roof, it actually looks quite cool. Okay, what we're doing now, we're going to attach a roof. So the roof comes in 2 pieces. You'll slip it together. It has got a join in here. So we've got to secure all of this now with M2 hardware. That's all the top ones in now. So again, down the side here, these 3 are M2x4s. That is one side completed. I'm going to nip across, do the other side, get all them bolts done up. When that's done, get it back on, and then we'll proceed on to the next bit. So we've got all the screws in place now, so the roof is fully secure. Next thing we need to do is install the sun visor. With the sun visor, it comes in 2 parts. We're going to glue these together with CA first, and a bit of kicker. So you need to glue it at an angle like that. So what we need to do now, attach the little brackets, 2 M2x8s. So once that is in place, both sides, we can then fit this on here. Both sides are in gently, look. So you can adjust the sun visor to where you want it, and then gently do these up to clamp it in place. So once they're in, it should look something like this. So what we're going to do now, we're going to do the battery hatch, and we're going to put the hatch clips on. What you'll notice is when you print these out, you can see that either side they are slightly tapered, so they go on opposite sides. The taper goes on the left hand side like that. It is in the instructions, and then we have the little knobs like this through here, and then we'll just screw that to that. Then you should have something like this. The taper should be there on that side, and then the taper should be here on this side. The seal on here, you can either use, this is the TPU printed seal. All you then have to do, the little tabs on that end go into the holes over there at an angle, in like so, and then lock. So these are all the bits we're going to need for the adjustable trim tabs. 4 M3x20s, 4 brass M3 insert, 4 14mm long M3 screws like such. I've just took normal screws and cut the heads off these at 40mm, and that's it. First thing you want to do, you want to make sure this part here fits inside here. So that should go in there, but what we should do is you turn freely like this. If there's any friction, it's going to get a little bit of emery paper, and then all the way around, a bit of a sand, all the way around, that goes in there. All you want it to do is spin freely. So I've taken an M2x5mm screw, stuck it in through the back side, and then you'll take your little piece here, slide that in there, and then we can do it up. What you're not going to want to do with this, you're not going to do it up too tight, because again, do it out to a point, back it off quarter of a turn, because this will also need to spin for it to work correctly. We want to insert our M3 nutser into here with a soldering iron like we did earlier. So the nutser is melted inside there. So if that's cool down, I'm going to do the other 4, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, so all 4 of those are now complete, all the nutserts installed. Next bit, you're going to take your 14mm M3 stud, and then we're going to screw it into the end of these pieces here. What we can do, we can take that piece and we can screw it into the nutser, hopefully. Once you've got one of these done, and it makes sure it's moving freely, like so we can fully adjust. We are going to then take the ride plate, and we're going to stick those bits together. Take an M3x20. So you want a bit of friction there, but still be able to move it. You need to take one of these. So that will then sit in the groove there. We'll take our M2x10. One side fixed. Again, another M2x10. We got it done in the other side as well. That's now ready to fit to the boat. I'm going to get the other one put together off camera, and then we'll get you back on when it's done, and we'll fit them onto the boat. Both are now completed. Rightio, so yes, we've got them all installed. Look, all the screws are in position with a bit of Loctite. How they run, they are slightly up. That's how you want it to start with. You do not want them pointing down. On to the next bit, we need to fit the grate, and all that does is fits in there. And then remember the screws we put in earlier, just need 2 in there to retain that. Regarding the ride plate, this version in the folds. Now this is the modded one for the M35. So we'll be linking in the description as well for the M35 nozzle. On my boat, I have this one installed. Now, this is a normal one for it. Now, this is a bending tool that you can use in a vise. There is a video for this on YouTube. Again, I'll put a link in there for that. And then you can buy yourself some of this. Now, this is 2mm aluminium. There's 2mm, 40mm wide, and this is exactly what you want. And then you'll cut it to the same size as the one on my boat, and then you'll use this bending tool to make it bend to the correct orientation. But what we're going to do, I haven't got a big enough vise here, so I'm going to take this to Kev, use his big vise, and we're going to cut this on video there. For now, we are going to stick this one, because I do want to test this. I want to see what difference it is compared to the stock version. Okay, that is the underside now fully completed and ready to go. Now, this is a flag mount. So what I need to do is drill a hole in here so we can fit the flag mount, and then drill this out so we can fit some tubing. There we go. So what I've done is drilled that out to 3mm, stuck the tube in it. So what I need to do now, I'm going to drill a hole in here. Go, drill a nice little 5mm hole in there. Slip in there, absolutely perfect, look. So now we just need to make some sort of flag. There we go, look. Just a couple of Kev Talbot YouTube stickers, and then I reckon we'll stick that on there. And that is the last addition to the boat. It is now complete. There we go, everyone. The boat is finally fully completed. So a bit of a montage. Boom, guys, there we go. So we've got it all finished, and what do you think? I mean, I think it makes mine look poo. I actually prefer this one now. I think it's come out absolutely awesome. Let me know what you think, guys. Comment in the description. The stand as well. What an awesome idea. So the stand will actually fold up and you can stick it in your pocket. Off you go. Race your boat down the old river or the lake. Unfold it, stick your boat back on it for display. Perfect. Overall, I think it's come out absolutely awesome. Cost-wise of this boat, what I'll do, I'll put total cost roundup up here. I'll work it all out, how much it would be. I think these are going to go really well. If they're anything like the other boats that I've done and you've seen in the videos, they're going to be absolutely brilliant. I'll put links in the description to everything I've used for this. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take it to Kev and give it to him and see what he thinks of it. Here we are then, guys. Look at that beast there. Game over, monster truck. Absolutely epic, and we got something to match it. Yo! What's going on?
I'm just venturing away on this little engine. Done it a bit wrong.
I come bearing gifts.
Have you?
A present for you.
Oh, is that another boat?
New jet boat for you, that one.
Is it? Oh, mate. Game over. Is it? It's got the old schnozzer on the back.
Yeah.
Is that for me?
That is for you,
really?
yes.
Are we going to go out? Have you got one as well?
Yes.
What, same?
So mine's ready. Yeah, we're going to take them out and give them a thrashing.
Well, it looks too good to order harm it. So the same as the other one, you 3D printed everything?
Yes, everything, obviously, apart from the electrics, everything
Oh,
in
so
there.
that's why you wanted a perfect par servo. That looks a nut.
So got your boat stand as well. You
Oh,
can...
nice. Oh, mate, that is a nut.
Good, doesn't it?
Yeah, thanks, mate.
No worries.
So this thing was epic as well. That was really good fun.
Yeah, they're really good. So I was saying, guys, the only thing we need to do now, we need to make some ride plates, and I'm going to use Kev's vise to do it. Do you want to give me a hand doing that?
Yeah, boy.
Right, so we need to score in there.
Cut that off.
Yep, so I need to cut them.
Right, ready? Boom! Here you go, mate.
Oh, thanks, mate. That was good. Next, we need to cut across here. Cool. So we got all those done. All we need to do now is put 2 holes in it and then bend them up. So what we're going to do now, guys, we're going to use this bending tool for the ride plates. Yeah, so we need to put this in the vise, and then that goes in there. We're going to try and use this jig now to bend it over. Wow, look at that. Right, so we can take this one off for now. Excellent. So that's done.
Boom.
Ready to go. So, as I said in the video, the build up to it, the motor that's in there is 1850 kV. It's a bit too much for 6S. It will run on 6S.
It's more power.
It'll probably blow up though.
No, it'll be alright.
Well, I'm going to dial mine back a bit. 4S, it'll be 100%, like I said. 6S, 70%.
100%.
Yeah, but happy?
Yeah, man.
Cool. So that's done. We're going to give him a rip. So, yeah. Like the video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ta, bye-bye now.